Welcome to One Oar Boat.
Welcome back to One Oar Boat and our new series, Super Shorts, live from San Diego with my good friend Rob. Today, we are going to be discussing country pop country with no fiddle and no banjo. Rob, dude, bring me in on this.
Okay, so the missus, she's a big country fan, right? I can listen to it, but I'm never going to turn it to country on my own, you know? And so every time that she turns radios on in the car, she turns it over to the country station, I just kind of do the, zone out, kind of look away like, here we go. And she always asks like, why don't you like country? What's your problem? Whatever. And my whole thing is, look, if I wanted to listen to pop, I would turn it over to pop and I would just listen to pop. I was like, but at this point, what we're listening to is pop on a country album or a country
with someone
label,
with a southern accent.
And they were just calling it sometimes, right? Or maybe even most of the time. But there's a few singers now who they don't even have that. What's who's the girl
Shania Twain?
That she
Taylor
sang
Swift?
this? So Shania Twain, in accordance to me,
and nobody, nobody important.
Nobody important. Look, I am singly the one who decided this, and let it be written, right? I am crediting Shania Twain for starting this, the verge down into the pop world.
That's the same time Garth Brooks came out. He was super huge and
super huge. Well, that's when Billy Ray Cyrus.
Dude, I'm not a country guy, but I definitely remember having friends who were into that sound in the 90s, and I was like, this can't last, and it totally lasted. And it's somehow they incorporated that Nashville sound and into pop music, and it's like you would hear overtones of the Stray Cats or Aerosmith or your favorite rock band, like I lost my truck. What is that?
right. And so now it's got that classic, like, R&B blues, but I mean, which all of rock is based off of, right? But just infused into the country line. And it's like, this isn't what country sounds like. And so, I don't know if you do the Sirius.
I do Spotify.
So I don't do Spotify, but I'll throw Sirius on in the car, and you go from one country station to the next, and the way they have everything divided is essentially by decade, and that's for almost all.
I used to do Sirius, right? So yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, right. You want to listen to 80s rock, 90s rock, cool. 2000s rock, cool. Same thing with country. We got our 80s country station, our 90s country station, our 2000s country station, and while obviously all music kind of, flows, I suppose, over time in a moderate change, I feel like country, I guess, changes the most.
I want to disagree with you. I want to say that all these artists want to garner their fair share of listeners, live streams, live venue plays, and get the most exposure they can get at any one given time. We listen to K-Love in the car every once in a while. And so it's almost like every 6 to 8 months, you will see this shift in the sound of that radio station. Now they'll play things that were 2 years old, 3 years old, but then right after that, you will hear this band come forward and, they are trying to sound like, a rap group. They are trying to sound like Mumford and Sons, and they have the exact same sound with the same instruments and the same effects and the same chorus. And I'm like, dude, it's like someone somewhere goes, well, if you want to sell 1 million albums this year, You need to sound like insert the band's name. And
Right.
that's what I said. What were we laughing about it a little while ago before we started this? Florida line. Florida, dude,
Georgia
I mean,
line.
so out of my element, but I do know that they incorporate rap into their, and you know,
They do.
no harm, no foul. That's their thing. I'm not anti-country or anti-country pop. What I think is funny is that they just want to say there's some good old boys never doing no harm and then rap about it. And it's just from outside looking in, coming from a punk rock indie background, I'm like, dude, that's a sellout move, man. That I don't get it.
I'm always curious, how much of it is a sellout move, how much of it is, well, the producers said we have to have this sound, or like you said earlier, I my job as a professional musician, like the way that I make a living is by having people listen to my music. If zero people, just to play, the huge extremes, if zero people want to listen to my music, then I'm not a professional musician because I'm not getting paid.
I wonder, Shania Twain, Garth Brooks, Billy Ray Cyrus, their music has stood the test of time. You're talking about people that were recording in the 90s, and it's 2023. Mm-hmm. And you can still, on occasion, hear these people's songs on the radio, or they'll get slid into your playlist, whether it's Sirius or Spotify, if you're listening to randomized playlists. And that's very cool because, the other day I heard a Willie Nelson song, and the other day I heard a Dolly Parton song. And I wonder if these people who are really going down that road of, I want to be a pop sensation, but I want to fall in the country category, how that's going to play out 20 years from now.
That's actually a really good, kind of like long distance perspective to have on this. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to mark this video, and in 20 years come back.
I'm down, bro. I totally hope that I have the ability to come back in 20 years and talk about pop music. Dude.
Yeah.
My question is, is country pop any different than pop?
Not to me. Not to me, right? The what's the girl's name? Maureen Morris?
I have no idea.
Whatever she. Oh man, I'm gonna sound like an idiot talking about an artist who I can't even remember her name. The first time I heard about her, and granted, I'm not severely in the country scene, so she may have released something earlier, and I just didn't know about it. But the first time that I was turned on to her is when she did a co-op with Zed, which was absolutely a pop song. And then she turned around and released a country album. And I'm just like, I thought she was
I just
pop,
want to see the Gorillaz come out with a country version of, one of their songs.
I will buy that album.
Dude, I've had so much fun with this conversation. You want to come back and do another one, sometime in the future?
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm so down. Thank you for being on here, man.
Yeah, it was a blast.
All right, later.
Peace.
Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. And if you found value in what we shared today, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the show too. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us on social media or through our website.